Imagine standing in a bustling supermarket, clutching a shopping list, your eyes darting between 20 different brands of cereal. Each box boasts a unique flavor, a catchy slogan, and promises of health. Your brain hums with questions. Which one is best? Should you try something new or stick with your usual pick? Minutes slip away, and a simple errand transforms into a mental maze. Sound familiar? You're not alone. This is the paradox of choice. The more options we have, the harder it can be to decide, and sometimes the less satisfied we feel with our final pick. But what if there was a way to flip this dilemma on its head? What if, by simplifying your choices, you could unlock clarity, conserve energy, and even boost your happiness? Today, we're diving deep into the challenge of abundant options and uncovering practical strategies to make decision-making swift, simple, and empowering. Let's rewind to a moment you might recognize. Picture yourself scrolling endlessly through a streaming app, searching for something to watch. You're bombarded by thumbnails and genres, each vying for your attention. After 15 minutes, you're still undecided, maybe even a bit frustrated. Here's the twist. Studies show that when faced with too many options, our brains become overwhelmed, leading to what psychologists call decision fatigue. Instead of feeling liberated by choice, we get bogged down, second-guessing and hesitating. The promise of freedom turns into a trap of indecision. So, what's the secret to breaking free? Stick with me, because by the end of this journey, you'll have a toolkit of simple hacks to cut through the noise and reclaim control over your choices. First, let's tackle the myth that more options always mean better outcomes. In reality, abundance can be paralyzing. Researchers call this the paradox of choice. When faced with a mountain of options, be it shoes, jobs, or even dinner plans, we often worry about making the right choice and fear missing out on something better. But here's an empowering truth. Clarity comes not from having every possible option, but from knowing what matters most to you. Ready for your first strategy? Imagine you're in a restaurant with a menu the size of a novel. Instead of scanning every page, try the rule of 3. Limit your consideration to just 3 appealing dishes. Why 3? Because our brains process groups of 3 with ease, and narrowing your scope instantly reduces stress. So next time you face a sea of options, pause and ask, what are my top 3? This simple filter trims the clutter and brings your priorities into sharp focus. The result? Decision time drops and confidence rises. But what if you're making a bigger choice, like picking a university or accepting a job offer? Here's a twist. Most successful decision-makers rely on minimalist frameworks. Think of it as building a decision checklist. List the 3 to 5 criteria that matter most. Maybe location, growth opportunities, culture, or salary. Then score each option against these benchmarks. Suddenly, the choice isn't about endless variables, but about finding the best fit for your key values. This clarity makes the process swift and surprisingly satisfying. Let's pause for a micro story. A friend of mine, overwhelmed by dozens of job offers, felt stuck for weeks. After creating a shortlist based on her top priorities, flexibility, mission alignment, and development, she was able to rule out most options. She made her pick within hours, and the relief was instant. So far, you've learned that simplifying your framework can slash indecision in half. But there's one surprise twist you don't want to miss. Sometimes letting go of perfection is the key to better choices. Ever heard of satisficing? It's a quirky term coined by psychologist Herbert Simon, meaning to settle for good enough rather than obsessing over the perfect option. Here's the curiosity gap. What if you stopped chasing the unicorn of the perfect choice and instead aimed for one that meets your needs and feels right? Satisficers tend to be happier and less anxious than maximizers, who exhaust themselves seeking the absolute best. So the next time you're stuck, remind yourself, good enough is great. It's a liberating mindset shift that keeps you moving forward. Now let's boost your decision speed with a pro tip. Timed decisions. Picture this. You're picking out an outfit for a big meeting. Set a timer for 2 minutes. When the bell rings, make your choice. This gentle pressure nudges your brain to trust its instincts and prevents endless rumination. Studies show that setting time limits not only accelerates decisions, but also makes us more confident in our picks. The takeaway? Constraints can be your best friend. If you're wondering how to apply these hacks in daily life, here's a simple ritual. Before making any decision, big or small, pause and ask yourself 3 questions. 1. What do I really want from this? 2. What are my top 3 options? 3. Is good enough here? This mini framework, repeated often, rewires your brain to seek clarity, efficiency, and ease. Let's recap the journey so far. We started in a supermarket, drowning in cereal boxes. We learned that too many choices can trigger stress and indecision. By limiting options, using minimalist frameworks, and embracing good enough, you can cut through the clutter and reclaim control. Timed decisions and simple rituals add an extra boost, making your daily choices lighter and more joyful. Now, imagine a week where you approach every choice: what to eat, where to work, how to spend your evening with these strategies. Overwhelm fades, satisfaction grows. You start to trust yourself more, and life feels just a bit easier. This is the power of simplifying decisions swiftly. It's not about settling, it's about gaining clarity and moving forward with confidence. So, let's turn this wisdom into action. What's the one decision that's been weighing on you lately? Share your toughest choice in the comments below, and let's build a community where we help each other simplify and succeed. If you found these hacks helpful, hit like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs a little more clarity in their life. Remember, every time you cut through choice overload, you unlock a little more freedom, energy, and joy. Ready to make your next decision with ease? Let's do this, together.